You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never coming back.
I feel funny. Is this real life?
Yes, this is real life.
I feel crazy. The world is spinning around me.
Don't touch your stitches, Justin. Bieber, don't touch your stitches.
What's happening?
No. Bieber, stop.
You have 4 eyes. I have 2 fingers. I have 3 fingers. Is this gonna last forever?
Justin, stop it.
You pressing Bieber?
Yeah.
Yo, what's up? Like, I'm calling you and answering.
Yeah, that was a little.
That was weird,
That was crazy.
That was weird. They did not run through Bieber.
There was. Why you not answering your phone? Like, yo.
What's going on with you guys? Are you working together?
I'm not. I mean, I think that we've become friends in a strange way, you know.
Like Robin Big.
Yeah. It's like exactly.
I'm begging you, Robin.
Yeah. No, I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry is a strong family, and he's somebody that, you know, we definitely have our arms around, and we want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person. Besides his talent, you know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know.
Justin, you. You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're out.
Got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or 2, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
For years, the industry treated the warning signs like background noise. Awkward moments were laughed off. Uncomfortable footage was turned into memes. And serious questions were quietly pushed aside. Now, with 50 Cent's documentary reopening the record, everything is under the microscope. Every detail is being re-examined. Every forgotten whisper is stepping back into the light. At the center of it all stand 2 very different figures. Diddy, a powerful force who shaped careers. And Justin Bieber, a young star drawn into that world before he was truly ready. This isn't about viral clips or internet gossip. It's about influence, about silence, and about how the truth can remain buried for years when too many people choose not to look.
Now, when we doing, we can't really disclose
but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. When he signed to Usher, I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Justin Bieber's rise was sold as a flawless modern fairy tale. But behind the spotlight lived a far more unsettling reality. A young talent moving through powerful adult systems with very little real protection. Old footage and interviews now reveal how he was placed in environments where status, access, and influence mattered more than healthy boundaries. Moments that circulated publicly were brushed off as harmless celebrity culture, instead of being questioned for what they truly were: dangerous exposure. This isn't about one isolated incident. It's about normalization. An industry trained to look the other way. And what happens when youth is exchanged for opportunity? Which leaves one unavoidable question. Who is really responsible for the price that gets paid?
Look at Usher. What Usher say? I seen some things I shouldn't have been seeing at that age. What does that tell you? That he's seen some things, he was around some things when he was young that he shouldn't have been at a Diddy party. So that's going to show you that there are certain things that are happening that's going on that here it is, this kid was saying he shouldn't even seen it and been around it himself. So all the other celebrities who saw it and they stand quiet about it, ain't that in our culture? No snitching. And I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you gonna give him a pass? Bro, you know
For years, 50 Cent positioned himself as an outsider to Sean Diddy Combs' inner circle. Aware of what was happening, yet unwilling to be part of it. At the time, his remarks were brushed off as nothing more than personal rivalry. Now, as legal pressure builds and public perception begins to shift, those same words are resurfacing with new weight and sharper meaning. They're forcing a serious re-examination of intent, timing, and what may have been ignored. This doesn't validate every claim, but it does reveal something uncomfortable. Warnings can exist long before evidence is officially acknowledged. Criticism is easiest to dismiss when it comes from an inconvenient voice. And the question still lingers. How many early signals are ignored simply because the messenger makes people uneasy?
He dropped the song. It went over our heads. It's actually about Diddy this whole time. Which video? The song Lonely. Let me see.
Everybody knows my best. I'm so needed black. Maybe that's the price you pay for the money and fame at an early age.
He even came out and said stuff about how when he was younger, he was being taken advantage of, which is true. The problem was being a victim of the diddler. What happens? Because he has so much dirt on you, if you go out into the public, he may have videos, he may have embarrassing things, he might even have incriminating footage of you doing things that you were forced to under the influence to do.
Diddy's influence reached far beyond music, shaping who was granted access to the rooms where careers were elevated or quietly shut down. And Justin Bieber's proximity to that world reflected a much deeper industry pattern. A system where opportunity flowed through powerful gatekeepers and private networks, not through transparent, accountable structures.
Guys, the leaked video of Justin Bieber partying with P. Diddy has just emerged, and it looks horrifying. Bieber was not in his right state of mind. Here's the video.
Oh, he's bad boy now.
Look at that. Whoa, look at that.
Here's your icon alert.
Look at that.
It's called.
Does that look normal to you guys? What's going on here? He gets down on his knees, starts drinking. Diddy right there. Look at his eyes.
The deeper concern goes beyond what may have happened behind closed doors. It centers on why accountability collapses in a system where success is tied to proximity to power. When progress depends on access, boundaries begin to blur. Caution is framed as weakness. Self-protection is treated as an obstacle instead of a safeguard. In that kind of environment, the real struggle is about control. Who is truly free to say no? And who ends up paying the price for having music, the courage to do so?
I'm tired of Usher. I wish somebody would come out and just like sue him. Like, we need Usher. No, we do. We need a victim to come out and be honest about him. Because what I'm realizing is that he's going to fake the funk into the victim, man. He's just going to keep on sucking the devil's. And I don't know, like with a baby, that pacifier, sometimes you got to pull it out. You know what I'm saying? And take it away. Right? When the baby's used to sucking on the pacifier. That motherfucker gonna keep sucking on that shit until you do what? Till you take it out the mouth. Now it's gonna scream and holler, but eventually it will get used to the fact that his mouth is no longer full with that object. And that it's time to just, learn how to live without it. He been sucking on Diddy's dick a long time. It's time for him to learn how to make this thing happen without the devil's dick in his mouth or ass.
You don't think if he sued, he'll just Lil Woody the situation? And I don't recall. I don't recall.
No, because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Long before Justin Bieber became a global star, Usher spoke openly about entering Diddy's circle as a teenager. Years later, he acknowledged how that environment exposed him to adult pressures far too early. That history matters because it represents precedent, not speculation. When similar patterns surface across different generations, coincidence fades and a deeper structural problem comes into view: music. Power and trust were passed forward without meaningful reform. And if the discomfort was recognized once, one unanswered question still music remains. Why was the system left unchanged when the next young talent walked the same path?
I seen that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there, but you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like. What kind of fucking asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be?
As scrutiny around Diddy intensified, many former allies slipped into silence. 50 Cent, meanwhile, spoke even louder, exposing an unspoken industry code. Speaking up music risks relationships. Staying quiet protects them. And over time, loyalty and self-preservation become nearly indistinguishable. This isn't driven by fear alone, but by calculation. A system where honesty competes with career survival. And when silence becomes the safest option, one difficult question remains. Can true accountability ever really exist?
Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. Usher
Fresh off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
What did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this with me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was stupid. Listen,
having a good time.
Usher is a procurer. And if Usher knew what was going to happen to any of those young children that he took to the Flavor Freak office, he a good guy. Especially considering what happened to him. Especially considering that he sat with Howard Stern and Howard Stern said, would you send your kids to Puffy's Flavor Camp? And his immediate response was, hell no! So it's good enough for everybody else's kids, but it's not good enough for yours. Yours are just good enough to die in Lake Lanier with no real investigation. Got it? Like, these aren't good people!
All right, Jeff.
He's not good! He's a... And the simple fact that Justin Bieber literally made a public statement and said, Usher asked me to do the Super Bowl with him and I turned it down.
Run for the hills.
Why would he turn it down? Who turns down the Super Bowl?
Justin Bieber has never publicly accused Diddy of criminal wrongdoing. But his later honesty about anxiety, instability, and emotional exhaustion adds crucial depth to a much more complicated story. He's spoken about being pushed under extreme pressure at a young age, surrounded by adults with competing interests, expected to manage massive success without the guidance or tools needed to protect his well-being. That history doesn't provide easy answers, but it does challenge simple explanations and exposes the real cost of growing up too fast in an environment where protection was never clearly the priority.
Yeah, she's crazy. She's a superstar.
Superstar, right? So, so you're there and you see her and you see the way she's reacting to you. And I wonder what was going through your mind, because I've never had a chance to ask you that, because I know what was going through her mind, because I've never had a chance to ask her that. And it's pretty clear in the video what's going through her mind. She can't even. What was going through your mind when you saw that kind of reaction? And also now in the knowledge that you were just coming out of that space yourself.
I wanted to protect the moment. You know, I don't know how many opportunities I'm going to get. You know, we never know how many opportunities we're going to get with anybody. I mean, I'm tearing up thinking about it, just with the Kobe situation, you know. You just never know. And so I just wanted to be a good example, you know. And, yeah.
Did you feel protective of her?
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, you know, telling me they love me and, you know, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, you know, she can count on me, but at the end of the day, I'm never gonna force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, you know, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments, because people take for granted encounters, and yeah. So yeah. I just want to protect her, you know. I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, you know, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So, yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call.
This isn't about delivering legal judgment. It's about recognizing human impact. Harm doesn't always arrive with loud accusations or clear labels. Sometimes it shows up years later as emotional weight, lost stability, or pain that was never given words. When pressure and exposure are built into a system, damage doesn't need one dramatic moment. It can accumulate quietly over time. And that leads to an uncomfortable question. If the problem is structural rather than isolated, why do we insist on a single accusation before admitting that something clearly went wrong?
Justin Bieber, and he was talking about Billie Eilish. And he was like, he was broke, almost in tears. He's like, I just want to protect her. I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billie. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown girl with Drake. These people are monsters. He ran into Dapper Dan in Harlem and they asked him what he thought about what was going on with Diddy and if he knew Diddy. And I love Dapper Dan for this. He said, I grew up with his parents. I knew his parents. He said, and what's going on with him has been going on long before him. Now, his father was a government snitch and a bad actor in the criminal world altogether. The woman that they're saying is his mother was a prostitute, no whore. But there's whispers in the streets of Harlem that Diddy's mother isn't alive. Not his biological mother, but that woman is his aunt.
Whoa.
There are whispers.
Wait a minute.
There are whispers. Diddy's story is so convoluted, but nobody really likes talking about who he was before he became Puffy. Nobody, like, I would love if I could be granted an interview with him. To interview Diddy now in his most raw state about his life up until the age of 15 only. We got to learn how to stop making Diddies. What made him him? Now, his pedigree comes from rat background. His father was a rat, snitch. Not revered. He turned on Frank Lucas, who was the king of Harlem. And yet, Diddy was able to, siphon off enough of that juice, just enough to get people, but he needed Gene. Think about this. Gene was more of a father figure to Diddy than he was a bodyguard. And Gene was more than a bodyguard, he was an investigator. So when they went separate ways, clearly he could.
When Diddy's story entered the federal courtroom, the conversation moved beyond speculation and into documented scrutiny, grounded in evidence, procedure, and measurable outcomes. Charges, rulings, music, and appeals set clear boundaries on what could responsibly be claimed, while also expanding the focus to what institutions themselves must confront. Courts are designed to judge individual actions, not entire cultures. And that gap leaves deeper questions unanswered. The message is clear. What is legal is not always what is right. And formal closure does not erase systemic harm. So when a case ends on paper, the real question remains. Does accountability stop there? Or is that where the conversation truly begins?
Looking at any black guys that are A-listers that's bigger than Diddy, there's only one that I could come up with. And there's a few I could come up with. Will Smith, he's bigger than Diddy. I would think Nick Cannon is bigger than Diddy. Who else on the black that are black actors or black in the business that's an A-lister that's bigger than Diddy, that's black? That's hard to think. But then if you got the A-listers, You got to realize he ran with that Rat Pack, and I don't even say their names, but they said I got their names wrong last time. What's his name? Kushner. What's the other guy? Leonardo. Yeah, his name. Man, I don't keep up with these cats, but I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shot. There's some other tapes out there, other people too with him, and him doing some things with some other people. So there's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing, and I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they really true. Because if they got if they got some tapes out there and it's with some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real.
The intersection of 50 Cent, Diddy, and Justin Bieber reveals a deeper reality about celebrity-driven systems, where power rises, music, vulnerability is overlooked, and accountability comes last if it comes at all. Youth is packaged as authenticity, access music is framed as mentorship, and silence is rewarded as professionalism, creating a culture where imbalance feels normal rather than alarming. This isn't a story about certainty or targeting a single individual. It's about repeated conditions that keep producing the same consequences. And when the same structures cause the same harm over and over, one question becomes impossible to ignore. When does the system stop being background noise and start becoming the real issue?